Alright, I only got about 17 minutes left on my camera's memory. For some reason it has lost some ability to record for... It used to have a 2-hour limit on its memory, and now it's down to an hour or something. And anyway, since I've been producing some longer videos now, yeah, you see, so like the last video was like 52 minutes or whatever. I've got 17 minutes of recording time left on the camera because I'm going to upload them at the same time. I'm not going to be back and forth. So I set my timer to 15 minutes. We'll throw back to 15-minute video. So I used to keep all the videos at 15 minutes. Nowadays, they don't seem to care. So I do 40-minute videos. Anyway, I've got a few of these military dry bags. Now, you could store your wool clothes in these and you'll be fine. I use the vacuum saver bags mostly because I like having these open to, you know, if I need them, right? But right now, this is a 56 liter or something like that. This is the one that's got the orange, the bright Norwegian orange on the inside. So I use these for packing stuff. Now, I don't have any hats or anything in here right now, but I'm just letting you know that you can use these to pack all your wool goodies and keep them safe from moths and other garbage like that. Anyway, we're going to talk about some hats. As you can see, I don't open and shut this valve. I just leave it shut. That way I don't get it too much excessive wear on it. Now, you know, something like this, you could, you know, use it for like Alice pack, right? Alice pack. Shove that in your Alice pack, shove all your stuff in there. And then you don't have to worry about it not having a closure on top. Now, I think that this is a Quest, Q-U-E-S-T. I believe this is a Quest brand dry sack. Now this one's in camo. Yeah. Anyways, is it Quest? What the heck is this? Aqua Quest. Aqua Quest. Alright. So, this is nice. It's got these little D-rings on here. You can secure it to something. You don't have to worry about losing your dry bag, right? This particular one I've got stuff in. I've got trapper hat, alright. So this one's a Cabela's. This thing is really warm. It's part wool and part this, part that, right? And then it's got rabbit fur. Okay, rabbit fur is less than ideal, but better than most. Well, better than most materials. I mean, you know, wool is obviously an excellent choice, but this rabbit fur, it's nice and soft. You know, something like this, you know, I've been in the dead of winter with this on. Not cold. So, Anyway, these right here are supposed to be covers. You undo this, and there in your traditional trapper hat, there should be an opening here for so you can hear better, right? It's supposed to be able to like unbutton this and button it up here, and then there's supposed to be, you know, a hole there, you know, on purpose so that you can hear better. But this doesn't have that. It's just for looks. It's just extra insulation, I guess, in my opinion. But anyway, this is in your Cabela's Ultimate Camo or whatever they want to call it. So there's really not much wool in this. Really not much. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's not a lot. Yeah. It's got a lining as well. Shell is only about 23% wool, so not quite even 25% wool. The rest is polyester. Now, I have found polyester to be pretty good. You know, when they blend it in with other stuff, polyester is pretty good. You know, it's not going to be like having 100% wool or 80% wool or whatever. It's just not. But, you know, I mean, for city slickers, polyester is probably pretty darn good. But the thing is that this has got, this has rabbit fur, and of course, you know, this is a 23% wool on the shell, and then it's got polyester batting inside, you know, sandwiched in between the shell and the inner material. So, I mean, it's pretty well insulated. Would I prefer a full-on animal, you know, fur and whatnot? Yeah, of course. You know, make the shell out of, you know, 80 to 100% wool, and then have it lined with animal fur. You know, it would be, you know, a lot more. It would be hundreds of dollars. I can't even believe how much they charge for some of their trapper hats out there that are made from, you know, different animals, Wolverine and beaver and whatnot. I mean, they charge a pretty penny. That's why I don't own one. You know, I always thought about getting a Wolverine trapper hat. No, I never did. Because they're just so expensive. Just so expensive. Yeah, so this is like $50. Cabela's. And listen, you know, I have worn this, you know, -20, -30 Fahrenheit, you know, and I was warm. So I do recommend this. I don't know how it will hold up with a lot of use, because I have not used that a lot. You know, to be honest with you, I had considered this one just for sleeping. You know, put it on when it's brutally cold, crawl in the sleeping bag, and pull this down over my face, because it's got that rabbit fur there. Leaves my mouth open to breathe, you know. But if I were going to be like hunting and trapping and whatnot all the time, you know, I think I would probably invest in, you know, a full-on hardcore trapper hat. You know, I mean, it just depends on how much money you got for stuff. But this is just good for just fiddling around outside, you know, going out to get firewood or whatever, you know, sleeping in your sleeping bag, and all that noise. Now, this next one here is Stormy Kromer. Okay, this is Stormy Kromer. This is an insulated cap. Now, this one is larger than I would normally wear. This is 80% wool, 20% nylon. Has cotton lining, okay. So, but it is also insulated. But the insulation, the heck was it? Made in the USA, in Ironwood, Michigan. Yeah, so the insulation, we're looking at polyester fiber fill or whatever. It's some kind of a, the heck was it? Thinsulate type thing, I guess. Anyway, it's got some kind of a insulation stuff. But it also, of course, it's insulated from the wool itself. Now, I bought this year for working outside. I haven't used it for working outside yet, but because it's stupid looking. It's a real goofy looking hat. But, you know, a lot of people have bought them and swore by them and whatnot. But the thing is, they're real stupid looking. This has absolutely no function, this here. So this thing ties these pieces together. I imagine that probably the original, these were the ear flaps, and he undid this and pulled them down because it was designed after some kind of a railroad hat, right? It was a modified railroad hat that the guy's wife modified for him. I don't think it had any insulation at first, but anyway, it's not perfect. Definitely not perfect, you know. I got it large so that I could wear 100% wool watch cap underneath, or this 100% wool watch cap with the bill to like go underneath this bill, right? So I got it in 7 7/8, which is pretty big. So this does fit underneath there. I got to actually select which hat that I wanted because I went to a store that carries Stormy Kromer, and I selected this one. Now, this is supposed to be able to like pull this ear thing up or pull it down, and that's what that's all about. Quote unquote famous for that. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But it needs a chin, you know. It needs a cord for the chin, because on windy New England days, there's a lot of wind up here, you know, it's just going to blow right up this. This isn't going to protect your ears. So you need that chin strap. So I'm going to sew what it needs into the cap, and then have the draw cord, you know, there. I'm going to use this for, you know, cutting wood, whatnot. So it's got this shell. The shell's 80% wool. This is made in the USA. The wool material comes from Connecticut here in New England, and they ship it to Stormy Kromer over there in Michigan. So, yep. Out of time already. Okay, last one is this cap here. Flat cap. Eddie Bauer, they don't make these no more, but you can probably find something. Harris tweed, right? So it's got the Harris tweed official badge in there. Drop down earmuffs with, fake fur. This is all Harris tweed, obviously. Eddie Bauer is the ones that made this with real Harris tweed. You can unpop this and unpop this, and then it lets this have more air space up here if it gets super cold. But this has always been a go-to for me for winter, right? And I got that Stormy Kromer thing to just kind of try it out. But this is it keeps close to the head, and it just works. It just works. If you got a coat and you got a hood, this keeps the hood from falling in your eyes. Great for, being outside in the winter time doing stuff. Hunting, trapping, whatnot. And it's wool. It does have a lining with thinsulate